So not exactly the best news for 49er fans in regards to their wait for their future defensive coordinator, because a lot of fans are hoping that it's going to be Robert Saleh. As we know, Robert Saleh was interviewing with the Jaguars and Raiders, and actually earlier reports were coming out that the interview with the Jaguars went really well, and actually he was looking like a favorite to potentially land the head coaching job for the Jaguars. So shout out to Trent Baalke, always messing up things for the San Francisco 49ers, whether it's inflating the wide receiver market, inflating the quarterback market, or stealing one of our coaches that we want. Leave it up to Trent Baalke to continue to make 49er fans miserable. But it's not over just there. A report this morning showed that the Dallas Cowboys have entered the mix of teams who have requested to interview Robert Saleh for their head coaching job. So the situation with the Dallas Cowboys, as we know, they weren't really in consideration the first week because they still had Mike McCarthy. Now they decided not to assign him to a contract extension, so he becomes a free agent. Now he's interviewing everywhere, which means they have to open up their head coaching search. And so sounds like Robert Saleh is going to interview for that head coaching position. So it seems like that Robert Saleh might not land with the San Francisco 49ers just because he has options. And if you have an option to be a head coach in this league, I think you take it. Even though I do think he would absolutely be the defensive coordinator for the 49ers, and the 49ers want him to be their defensive coordinator. If you can get a head coaching job, man, you got to take it. There's only 32 of those jobs, and it's such a finite amount of opportunities you get. So that's just unfortunate news, I think, for 49er fans. It's starting to look like that as the longer it goes on, the longer that the chances kind of start to dwindle a little bit. Now, the 49ers haven't interviewed that many defensive coordinators. They really have kept their search small, and it was probably due to the fact that they were really hoping that they were going to land Robert Saleh. So now I think the situation is what's the next move? Like, what's the pivot? Who becomes the potential next target in line? I was talking about this on a video the other day. It just feels like over the last couple of years, the 49ers typically have an idea of what they want to do. They just it never comes to fruition. Like, you know, there's just a lot of opportunities that get missed, and they end up having to settle, you know, for someone else. You know, when their defensive coordinator searched last year, they're trying to get Ulbrich. They got denied for that. They had to settle for Sorensen, it felt like. And, you know, when they got done with the NFC Championship game, you know, in 2022, there weren't a ton of options. They land on Steve Wilks. Just feels like the timing for the 49ers and a lot of the moves that they attempt to make, it kind of doesn't work out for them all the time. So it is what it is, though. It's the nature of the business, you know. Can't complain too much about that. Big part of the NFL, life in the NFL, is pivoting and being able to make different decisions when things don't work out. So, you know, I don't know. The more we wait, I think the less comfortable I feel that Robert Saleh is going to be the defensive coordinator. And again, you have a potential like bidding situation if the Cowboys want to hire him and the Jags want to hire him. You know, the Cowboys have been linked to Deion Sanders. That's like the hot news about their potential search, and like the rumor of hiring Deion, trading up to 1, drafting Shedeur. Who knows if that happens, but I'm also not like following the Jaguars search super close, so I don't really know all the candidates that they're interviewing. But again, I've only heard that Saleh seems to be like the front runner for that potential job. So again, it's a tough situation. You know, like you think of Robert Saleh fitting in with the Jacksonville Jags. Like, they got a quarterback, they got a premier wide receiver, You know, they have some running backs. Defensively, they got some pieces on the defensive line. They have some pieces on defense. Trent Baalke's your GM, which is a drawback because he's one season away from having a dud and getting fired. So that's also one thing that you have to kind of keep in mind when making that decision is, am I going to be one and done again one and done as a coach if I tie my wagon to Trent Baalke? And what happens if Trent gets fired? Do I go too? So I don't know, man. Not the news I was hoping for. You know, I was really hoping to find out that Robert Saleh was narrowing in on his decisions. The Jags find a different DC, and you know, it's like, oh, the stars align. 49ers get what they're looking for. But again, we haven't heard, I think it's been like 2 days, a couple days since we've heard anything about any DC interviews. I think if we start hearing about more DC interviews and those start popping up, it might be an indication that the 49ers are kind of looking into life without Saleh as their defensive coordinator. I know it's not news most 49er fans were looking for. Most 49er fans really want Robert Saleh to be the defensive coordinator. And so probably going to be disappointed with this news. But you guys let me know in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.